What did you make of Foreign Minister Penny Wong's response? I played it a bit earlier. She's again effectively urging restraint, to both Israel and Iran. But, we saw that kind of response after October 7 as well from her. And it comes after Australia, of course, sanctioned two Israeli ministers earlier this week. How helpful are these kinds of interventions?
Well, look, it's just sort of common diplomatic speak, but it's ultimately meaningless. Urging dialogue between Israel and Iran all sounds very well, but those two countries have not spoken directly for 46 years. They don't have diplomatic relations. Iran is committed to Israel's destruction, ideologically and politically. We have been trying a diplomatic track. The United States, the Trump administration, has had 5 rounds of talks with Iran, but Trump had indicated that his patience was not unlimited and that if these talks had not made sufficient progress within 2 months, he would be looking at other options. Well, 2 months of those talks elapsed yesterday. We should not be surprised that Israel has taken matters into its own hands. It's been saying quite loudly to the international community and privately through diplomatic channels that if Iran's destabilisation, its pursuit of nuclear weapons, its support to armed terrorist groups was not dealt with diplomatically, it would do so militarily.
Very hard to deal diplomatically with an enemy that wants your total destruction. And as you say, they haven't spoken for more than 4 decades directly. Let's move on to the PM's trip. And speaking of Trump, Albanese is currently in Fiji. He's off next to the US and Canada for the G7. And he's hoping to snag a face-to-face meeting with Donald Trump. Maybe that's even more unlikely now, given what's happening in the Middle East. But if he does manage this, what do you think should be top of his agenda?
Look, I think top of his agenda should be making the case and getting President Trump's personal buy-in to the AUKUS program. The acquisition of those submarines, nuclear-powered submarines under the AUKUS program is vital not only to Australia's security, but it's also vital to the stability of the Indo-Pacific, and it's vital to the supporting a forward US presence in the Indo-Pacific. So I think making sure that President Trump is aware of that program, the benefits it brings to the United States and Australia, the shared endeavour that it represents, and how significant this particular project is to Australia, I think is a message that needs direct communication from the Prime Minister.
Well, hopefully he'll get that opportunity in amongst everything else that's happening in the Middle East and domestically in the US. Dave Sharma, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thanks so much for having me on.